Hey guys, it's me, it's Queen Haru, and I'm here today to talk to you about something that is, I don't know, like it just came to me, and I heard the voices just say, just talk to them, you know. Um, Usually I think about what I'm going to say. This time I was just told to say it, so I'm just going to say it. Um, when you are down on your knees in agony, when you are screaming for relief, when you are at your most traumatized, when you're at your most grief stricken, when the most awful thing that could have ever happened has happened, you are actually the closest at that moment to a spiritual breakthrough than you could ever possibly imagine. Those are the moments where you have a very important choice to make. And if you make the right choice, it can change your entire life. When you're in agony, when anything bad has happened, when you've been traumatized, when somebody's died, when you're, screaming for God to help you, that is the time when you can do one or two things. You can deal with what is happening to you in a productive way, or you can deal with what is happening to you in a non-productive way. It's only two choices you have. And in my lifetime, when I hit my spiritual, emotional bottom, when I had stopped seeing Voldemort and everything just crashed on me, my whole world just crashed on me, and I was just suicidal, and I was just exhausted. I was tired of bullshit. I was tired of what I was going through. I was tired of hurting. I was tired of crying. I cried so much that I thought I was going to die. And Aquarius don't like dealing with intense emotions. So when you're going through a trauma as an Aquarius, you feel like the fabric of your soul is literally ripping apart. It may sound dramatic, but that's what it feels like. It feels like you're literally ripping apart. And in that moment, I realized something. When I was on the floor crying, I realized you can deal with this productively, or you can deal with this unproductively. And see, all my life I had dealt with trauma, sorrow, grief, loss, unproductively. I let it get me angry. I let it get me bitter. I let it get me sorrow-filled. I let it, make me bitch at people. I let it make me hurt. I just let it, be unproductive, because that's what it can do. It can either be productive or unproductive. Everybody knows somebody who had something bad happen to them and they were forever bitter. They were forever fucked up. People always say that to me about Kanye West. Every time I talk about his behavior, people say, well, his mom died and he hasn't been the same since his mom died. And I understand that, but it's like he could have used that moment to get better or to get worse. Or like I like to say, better or bitter. And he used that moment. We don't really know how he used that moment, to be honest with you, because we don't know Kanye. But it appears that he used that moment to allow himself to fall into a bitter space, a hurt space, a dark space. And that was the other option. But you also could have went to a light space, a happy space, a compassionate space. Death can take you there. We all know somebody who's lost someone and it put them in a better space. Like they were able to come to terms better. They were able to cope. They were okay, They come to a space where they, like one woman said to me, after her father died, their relationship improved. And what she meant was that she was able to love his spirit in a way that he wouldn't allow her to love him in the physical. So we all can find examples of both. Times when a death has made you better and times when a death has made you bitter. So it's the same way with any kind of trauma. It can make you a better person or it can ruin you. It's up to you. It's up to you which way you choose to go. And when I was on the floor in my bedroom screaming, that's what came into my head. You can let this destroy you, or you can let this make you a better person. So last night and throughout today, as this message was coming to me, and I was thinking to myself, okay, and you got to tell your subscribers, because some of them are in this space of agony, and they can either let it make them worse or they can let it make them better. And I'm asking you to let it make you better. In that space of agony, choose to heal yourself productively. Don't choose to turn to the bitterness, to drugs, to alcohol, to sex, to workaholism, to anger, to whatever unproductive ways we try to deal with grief that never freaking work. Never work. Instead of going in that direction, I beg you to come towards the direction of light, towards healing. No matter what agony you're in, there's a way, there's a light, there's a beacon. You gotta find it and follow it. For me, it was Goddess. It was Goddess. I had told you guys the story at that same time that I was screaming on the floor. Right around that time, like the day after or so, that was when I had the dream. And Goddess, I was drowning. I told you guys I was drowning. And I was in the ocean, and I just said, fuck it. And I let my body just go. I was like, I'm not fighting the current. I'm not fighting the wave no more. And that's how that's how my suicidal thoughts felt. It just felt like, fuck it. And I just let go of my body. And I felt myself drowning. I wasn't even struggling. And this light, my eyes were closed, and I felt this light. And I was like, what the hell is that? And I opened my eyes, and I saw this white, golden light. And I'm thinking it's a lighthouse, a boat, something like that. And it was coming towards me. And then I saw a face. And then I could see all this, like locks, long locks. And I could see this blue dress. And I'm like, that's a woman. And she grabbed me by my shirt and said, you're coming with me. And grabbed me and started pulling me up to the surface. And when I woke up the next morning, I knew that dream meant something, because it was like, it was crazy. It was like, it was so profound. It was like no other dream I had ever had. And I was like, what the hell was that? And I started to Google and look at my books, because I was already a little into spirituality at that point, just a little. I had a couple books and some websites. And I started to look and see, what the hell was that? And every image I saw, it was Yemen-Ya. Yemen-Ya is the mother goddess. The mother goddess, every culture has a mother goddess. There's Yemen-Ya, there's Osset. You know, we all have a mother goddess. And it was Yemen-Ya. And when I looked in to see, like, at that time I was learning the Egyptian pantheon. And they were like, Yemen-Ya corresponds with the goddess Osset. And I was like, that was Goddess? And I thought about what she said, you're coming with me. And I woke up that morning. I was still crying all the time at that point. And I went into the back room. And I always had an altar. Ever since I came home from Africa, I had an altar. But I didn't use it very much. I used it to pray. I'd pray. I'd ask my ancestors for guidance. I'd light a candle. I would put a glass of water on it. You know, I was just learning the practice. I didn't know a lot back then. And that day when I woke up from that dream and I found out that was Goddess Osset talking to me directly, I went back in the room and something clicked in my head, productive or non-productive. And I said, I'm going to do this the right way. All my life, I had done things the wrong way. All my life when I got upset, I dealt with it the unproductive way, the sad way, drinking, drugging, hanging out with, some person that wasn't right for me. I did something that was unproductive. And I said, this time I'm going to do it the right way and see what happens. I had no idea what would happen. I was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to see what happens. So I went back in my back room where my altar was, and it was big and heavy. And I dragged it all the way into my bedroom. And I put my altar right in the bedroom, right by the window. And I was like, from now on, Goddess, I am yours. I'm coming with you. And I drug that altar in there. And from that day forward, I was like, I belong to Offset. And for me, that was the productive way to deal with the hurt. That was the productive way to heal. It was the productive way to get out of agony. And it worked. All these years later, I'm still with Offset. And I'm finally at a space over the past year or two where everything is where I've always wanted it to be. Everything. And I'm so grateful. And every day things just get better and better. So I wanted to tell you guys this because I know some of you are at different spaces. Some of you are in agony. Some of you are coming out of agony. Some of you are finding your way out. Some of you don't know what to do. You're still figuring it out. But I wanted you to know that you are at a space when you're in pain. There's only one good thing about pain, and that's that it can bring about so many blessings if you allow it to. It can destroy you, it can bring about curses, or it can bring about blessings. But the choice is yours. Make the right choice, guys. Come to the light. That's what I wanted to say. I don't even know if it sounds right, but they told me to tell you, so I told you. I hope it helps somebody. Deuces.